Hello everyone and welcome back to another video from our channel Immortal News. Today we invite you to join us for a gentle and heartfelt remembrance. We'll be honoring the American stars we've recently lost, as well as beloved figures from around the world whose lives touched us in ways we may not even realize until they're gone. These are the stories of people who made us smile, inspired us, and left behind memories that continue to echo in our hearts. Before we begin, if you could take a moment to give this video a like, it would truly mean a lot. Your support helps us continue sharing these meaningful tributes and keeping their legacies alive. Thank you for being here with us. Now, let's begin. Number 6. Those who followed her journey will remember Pauline Potter as a woman who faced enormous challenges with a courage that unfolded slowly but powerfully in front of the world. Pauline was an American reality television personality from Sacramento, California. She became known to many through Season 3 of My 600 lb Life, where she invited viewers into some of the most difficult and vulnerable moments of her life. At the time, she weighed 673 pounds and relied heavily on her son, who lovingly helped her with daily care, even in the most basic tasks like using the bathroom. Years earlier, in 2011, Pauline held the Guinness World Record for the world's heaviest female, weighing over 700 pounds. It was a title that brought attention, but also reflected the deep physical and emotional burden she was carrying. Rather than letting that chapter define her, Pauline made the brave decision to seek help and try to change her life. On My 600 lb Life, she began working with Dr. Now and ultimately underwent weight loss surgery. At first, she struggled with the strict regimen and the emotional work required, but over time, Pauline pushed forward. Through determination and medical support, she went on to lose 520 pounds after her appearance on the show. Her story resonated with many people living with obesity, chronic pain, or feelings of dependence on loved ones. Viewers saw a mother who didn't want her son to carry her burden forever, a woman who wrestled with fear and resistance, but still chose to keep trying. Pauline Potter's legacy lives on in the hope she offered to others who feel overwhelmed by their circumstances. Her journey showed that even from a place of deep struggle, it is possible to take steps toward change, one difficult choice at a time. Tributes to Pauline Potter. Number 5. Friends and family remember Camryn as a radiant force, someone whose bright spirit, courage, and kindness made every space feel warmer. Camryn Magness was an American singer and musician, born July 14, 1999. Her music journey started remarkably early. Her career began at age 8, a sign of how naturally performing came to her. In 2010, she began gaining attention through her YouTube videos, sharing her voice with a growing audience that quickly saw something special in her. As her talent reached more people, new doors opened. Camryn toured with Grayson Chance and Cody Simpson, bringing her energy to live stages across the country. In 2011, she joined One Direction on their Up All Night tour, introducing her music to thousands of new fans. She returned to the road with them in 2013, performing 63 sold-out shows across Europe on their Take Me Home tour. Her path continued to rise. In 2016, Camryn joined Fifth Harmony on their European 727 tour, again proving she belonged on some of the world's biggest stages. Along the way, she released her own music, debuting her third single Now or Never in 2012 while touring, followed by Lovesick in 2013. These songs and the way she delivered them reflected both her ambition and her heart. Away from the spotlight, Camryn's life was filled with love. She was engaged to Christian name, and at home she was a devoted dog mom to Brooklyn and Zeppelin. Her mother, Sarah, was an important part of her world. Those closest to her describe a young woman whose fearless energy was matched only by her boundless kindness. Camryn Magness passed away on December 5, 2025 at age 26 after being struck while riding an electric scooter in Fort Myers, Florida. Her loss is deeply felt by her family, her friends, her fans, and everyone who believed in her voice and her dreams. Though her years were far too few, the stages she graced, the songs she shared, and the hearts she touched will continue to carry her story forward. Tributes to Camryn Magness. Number 4. Friends say that when Jim Ward stepped behind a microphone, something truly beyond brilliance came to life. Jim Ward passed away on December 11, 2025, at the age of 66. His wife, Janice, shared that he died at 10:45 a.m. local time at Silverado Beverly Place Memory Care in Los Angeles, after facing complications from advanced Alzheimer's. Even in that difficult final chapter, the impact of his work and his kindness continued to echo in the hearts of those who loved him and listened to him. Jim was a gifted voice actor, a radio co-host, and an announcer whose talent reached audiences of all ages. Many will remember him from Nickelodeon's The Fairly Odd Parents, where he brought to life memorable characters like Doug Dimmadome and Chet Ubecha. Over the years, he lent his voice to 95 episodes of the series from 2001 to 2017, becoming part of the childhood soundtrack for countless families. His versatility carried him far beyond one show. Jim's voice could also be heard in the Cartoon Network series Ben 10, and in the beloved video game series Ratchet & Clank, where he played Captain Quark. Whether in animation or gaming, he had a rare ability to make characters feel big, bold, and wonderfully human. On the airwaves, Jim shared another side of his talent. For 13 years, he worked as co-host and announcer on The Stephanie Miller Show. There, his quick wit, warmth, and voice artistry turned a radio program into a daily ritual for loyal listeners. Colleagues described him as a voice deity and remembered his work as beyond brilliance, a testament to both his skill and his spirit. Jim Ward is survived by his wife, Janice, and by the countless fans and friends who will continue to hear him every time a favorite episode plays or a familiar game loads up. His characters may have been animated and digital, but the joy he sparked was very real. Tributes to Jim Ward. Number 3. Those who spent time with Alwyn Crawshaw often remember a gentle teacher whose calm voice made the world of painting feel welcoming and possible. Alwyn Crawshaw was a British artist and author who devoted his life to sharing the joy of painting. He worked in watercolor, oils, and acrylics, and became especially known for the way he explained oil painting in simple, practical terms. On television, he demonstrated techniques and equipment, stripping away the mystique that often surrounds painting and inviting viewers to pick up a brush themselves. His warm presence reached many homes through his work as a BBC television presenter and oil painting instructor. For countless people, he was the friendly guide who showed that art was not just for galleries but for ordinary people at their kitchen tables. His influence even touched popular culture, as he became a familiar reference point and was featured in the BBC comedy sketch program The Fast Show. Beyond the screen, Alwyn's peers recognized his talent and contribution. He was a Fellow of the Royal Society of Arts and a member of the Society of Equestrian Artists, reflecting both his artistic skill and the respect he earned within professional circles. Alwyn shared his life on the Norfolk coast with his wife, fellow artist June Crawshaw. Together they built a life surrounded by creativity, sea air, and the quiet beauty that often finds its way into an artist's work. It was there, at home on the Norfolk coast, that he died peacefully on Monday, 10th November 2025, at the age of 91, after an illness. Those who learned from him, whether in person or through a television screen, remember not just his paintings, but the calm encouragement in his voice, and the way he made art feel friendly, human, and within reach. Tributes to Alwyn Crawshaw. Number 2. Friends say Junior King had the heart of gold and the talent of a titan, a young man who worked tirelessly for his craft and his community. Born as Dugulth Darian Denver Ferreira in Caberha in the Eastern Cape, the world came to know him as Junior King, a rapper, dancer, TikTok influencer, choreographer, and all-round entertainer. He grew up in a modest home in Uitenhage, now Cariega, living with his grandmother in a two-bedroom house, and turned those humble beginnings into a powerful story of perseverance. As a teenager, he faced deep pain. After being rejected from the Déjà Vu Dance Academy at 16, he reached a breaking point and attempted to take his own life, but his mother intervened and saved him. Out of that moment came a new beginning. 6 friends from Déjà Vu left to join him, and together they formed PE's finest, setting him on the path to become one of Caberha's most exciting talents. Junior King later founded the PE Boys Dance Crew, growing it into a continental act that toured more than 30 African cities and sold out over 20 headline performances. He helped shift dance from the background to the main stage, proving that dancers could be headline artists in their own right. On screen and on stage, he brought South African stories to life. He choreographed for major shows like Idol's SA and Miss SA, and performed alongside artists such as Black Coffee, Nasty C, Casper Nyovest, and AKA. Online, his energetic choreography, sharp lyrical style, and humorous skits drew a wide audience. He poured his success back into the community, running a dance academy in Caberha that gave underprivileged children a space to learn, grow, and dream. In music, he became a rising force in Afrikaans hip-hop, using his work to reflect cultural themes and the realities of marginalized communities. Just days before his passing, he released the Revenge album. Junior King died on December 11, 2025, in a head-on vehicle collision on the N1 highway near Verkeerdevlei. His passing left fans, collaborators, and young dancers mourning a bright, hard-working artist who opened doors for others and believed in their potential as much as his own. Tributes to Junior King. What's trending on the internet? News 1. Let's talk about a Hollywood legend who's getting very honest about life, legacy, and where she wants her story to come to a close. Glenn Close, now in her late 70s, has opened up about the place she hopes to spend her final days. And it's not a big mansion or a glamorous movie set, but a quiet, deeply personal spot that feels like home to her. Glenn Close, the beloved star of films like Fatal Attraction and Dangerous Liaisons, shared that she has a very specific plan for where she wants to be when her life's journey winds down. She says she wants to be somewhere peaceful, surrounded by nature, family, and memories, in a place that holds her roots and reminds her of who she really is, away from the spotlight. For her, it's about comfort, calm, and connection, not red carpets or bright lights. She talked about how thinking ahead in this way isn't sad for her. Instead, it gives her a sense of peace. Glenn has spent decades giving the world unforgettable performances, earning awards and nominations, but now she's also focused on what matters most in her personal life: time with loved ones, meaningful conversations, and a place where she can feel grounded and at ease. What's especially touching is how she describes this final chapter as something she wants to approach with grace, humor, and gratitude. She's not afraid of talking about it. In fact, she hopes that by opening up, she might help others feel a little more comfortable thinking about their own wishes, whether that means being near family, out in the countryside, or in a cherished hometown. For many older Americans, her words may feel familiar. As we age, we often think more about the where and who of our days than the what. Glenn Close is reminding us that it's okay to make plans, to say what we want, and to choose a place that makes our hearts feel at rest. And of course, while she's sharing these deeply personal thoughts, Glenn is still very much here, still working, still creating, and still inspiring. She continues to use her voice for mental health advocacy, storytelling, and projects that mean something to her, proving that every chapter of life can be rich with purpose. In the end, Glenn Close's reflections are less about endings and more about intention. She's choosing peace, choosing home, and choosing to be remembered not just as a brilliant actress, but as a thoughtful, loving person who knew what truly mattered. And that's how so many fans will honor her, not only for the roles she played on screen, but for the wisdom, honesty, and heart she shares off of it. News 2. You know, every once in a while, a young life comes along that shines so brightly, it touches people far beyond their own hometown. 17-year-old motocross star Jaden J.O. Archer was one of those rare lights. Born and raised in Australia, Jaden was a fearless freestyle motocross rider who captured hearts around the world with his huge smile, humble spirit, and incredible talent on a dirt bike. Jaden made history in 2022 when he became the first rider ever to land a triple backflip on a motorcycle in competition. It was the kind of moment that gives you goosebumps, a teenager soaring through the air, doing something no one had ever done before, then jumping up with pure joy when he landed it. That single ride instantly became part of motocross history. Recently, during a training session in Australia, Jaden tragically lost his life doing what he loved most. He was just 17 years old. Details of the accident have been shared only gently and respectfully, and the focus from his family, friends, and fans has been on the joy he brought to others and the passion he poured into his sport. Those who knew Jaden describe him as kind, hard-working, and always ready with a big grin. He wasn't just a daredevil. He was a dedicated athlete who spent countless hours practicing, falling, getting back up, and pushing the boundaries of what was possible. He dreamed of inspiring the next generation of riders, and in a very real way, he already has. Around the world, fans and fellow riders have been sharing memories, photos, and stories of Jaden, not just of the tricks he landed, but of the kindness he showed, the encouragement he gave younger riders, and the pure love he had for his family and friends. For many people, he's a reminder that bravery isn't just about big stunts. It's about chasing your dreams with your whole heart. Although Jaden's time here was far too short, his legacy is a powerful one. He showed what can happen when courage, hard work, and joy come together. His historic triple backflip will be replayed for years to come, but even more lasting is the inspiration he's left behind. Jaden J.O. Archer will be remembered as a trailblazer, a gentle soul with a fearless spirit, and a young man who believed in going after big dreams. And as fans continue to share his story, his life will keep encouraging others to be kind, to be brave, and to make the most of every precious day. News 3. You may have seen a bit of online buzz recently around a familiar face from the classic movie Mean Girls actress and comedian Daniel Franzese, now 46 years old. He played the much-loved character Damien, and today he's making headlines not for a film role, but for speaking very openly about kindness, accountability, and how we talk to one another in tough times. The conversation began after the recent passing of Charlie Kirk, a well-known conservative commentator in his early 40s. In the emotional wave that often follows a public figure's death, social media filled up with reactions from across the political spectrum. In the middle of all that noise, Daniel Franzese shared comments that many people felt were harsh and unkind. Some online voices quickly called for him to apologize. Instead of offering a traditional apology, Daniel chose to explain where he was coming from, especially as a gay man who has long felt hurt by divisive political rhetoric. He spoke about years of feeling targeted and dismissed, and how that frustration sometimes bubbles up in ways that may sound sharper than intended. At the same time, he reminded people that he is a comedian who uses humor to cope with pain, and that he is still growing and learning like everyone else. What stands out in this story is not anger, but the reminder that behind every public statement is a human being with a history, a heart, and real emotions. Daniel talked about wanting a world where people, including those in the LGBTQ community, can live with dignity, feel safe, and be treated with respect, even when they disagree with others' beliefs or politics. He also highlighted that the words of influential figures can deeply affect people's daily lives, and that this impact deserves to be taken seriously. For many older Americans who have watched decades of public debate evolve, this moment may feel familiar. We have seen famous names come and go. We have seen tempers flare in the news cycle, and we have seen how, over time, heartfelt conversations can slowly soften hearts and open minds. Today's online world moves fast, but the underlying values of decency, patience, and listening carefully to one another remain as important as ever. As people reflect on Charlie Kirk's life and influence, And as Daniel Franzese continues to speak candidly about his own experiences, there is an opportunity here for all of us. It is a chance to turn down the volume, remember the humanity on every side of an argument, and ask how we can speak firmly about what we believe while still honoring the dignity of others. In the end, this story will likely be remembered less for a single comment and more for the broader call to choose compassion in our public conversations. Whether you knew Charlie Kirk from television or Daniel Franzese from a beloved movie, their names now invite a deeper reflection on how we treat one another. And if that reflection leads us to a little more kindness, a little more understanding, and a little more grace in what we say and share, that may be the most meaningful legacy of all. Number 1. Friends say that in every room she entered, Wendy Alton Davis carried both a fighter's spirit and a comedian's light touch. Wendy Alton Davis was an American actor whose journey to the screen was anything but ordinary. Born as Wendy Davis in North Carolina, she later embraced the stage name Wendy Alton Davis as she built her creative life. In her late 20s, she moved to New York, chasing the thrill of the stage as a stand-up comedian before transitioning into acting. Her work found a home on both television and film. Audiences may recognize her as a cop in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Fran Jones in New Amsterdam, or a driver in Blind Spot. She brought depth to the role of Gloria in The Normal Heart and appeared as a police officer in Shame. Her career also included appearances in Girls 5 Eva, Rescue Me, and American Odyssey, among other projects. These roles, large and small, showed her versatility and quiet dedication to her craft. Away from the set, Wen's life was grounded and real. She worked security at John F. Kennedy International Airport, a job that spoke to her steady reliability. She loved boxing, a passion that matched her resilient nature, and she cherished her cat, Roxy, a small companion who meant a great deal to her. Standing 5'2", 1.57 mm, she carried herself with a presence that far exceeded her height. Her life story is one of reinvention and perseverance. From North Carolina to New York, from stand-up stages to dramatic roles, from everyday work to memorable screen moments, she maintained close connections with family and friends, holding tight to the people and passions that defined her. On December 8, 2025, Wendy Alton Davis died after being hit by an SUV while crossing Broadway near West 53rd Street in Midtown Manhattan. She was 60. Today we remember a woman who worked hard, made people laugh, and poured herself into each role she was given. Her journey reminds us that it is never too late to pursue what calls to your heart, and that a life can be meaningful in both its quiet moments and its time in the spotlight. Tributes to Wendy Alton Davis. Those who worked with Jeff Garcia often remembered how his energy and humor could light up a room long before the cameras ever started rolling. Jeffrey Garcia was an American actor,